Okay friends, one of the first things we have to do is safely raise and support the vehicle so the rear wheels are off the ground. After that, remove all 5 of your lug nuts and the wheel. With the wheel off here, we have a nice clear view of our caliper. To start replacing it, I'm going to pinch off the brake line. And then I'm going to use a wrench and I'm going to loosen up the flex hose right here. It's a good idea to use a little bit of penetrant on this. Make sure that's broken free, and now we can move along to removing the caliper from the knuckle. To remove the caliper, we're going to move along to removing these bolts. There's one right here, and there's another mounting bolt up on top. Put that in a couple threads. We'll do the same to the other one. Grab your caliper. Just going to separate this here so we can remove the pads. Inspect your pads. If it still looks like they're in good condition, typically you can reuse them. Ours are brand new. Now we need to continue removing our flex hose from our caliper. Make sure you have a nice collection bucket under the area so we can recycle that fluid. There we are. Now it's time to prep our brand new caliper. To do that, the first thing I want to do is remove this slider right here, the one opposite to the bleeder screw. Slide that out. Now we can open up our caliper and remove it from the bracket. Now let's pull off our boots. At this point, we're going to use a little bit of this caliper grease, and I'm just going to try to get along inside that hole there, just add a little bit of lubricant. And then of course we want to get along the ear right here, along the outside. This is going to be very important to help keep moisture out of the area. Do the same to both. Now let's get our boots back on there. It's easiest if you hold this end, that way there it creates a little bit of pressure in there. You can slide it right on, give it a nice twist, do the same to the other one. With both those boots on, now let's continue on with the lubricant along this area here. And of course on the other side, same area. Grab your tins, slide them on there. Apply some lubricant along your piston right here and along both of these ears. Let's apply some lubricant along our slider pins as well. Do this one and of course the other one as well. We'll take our outer pad. We're going to slide it right down on here. We're going to get those pitons to slide into the holes on the caliper. If it looks like it's kind of off-centered and doesn't fit in, just wiggle it around until it does. Make sure it's completely locked in. Now let's grab this part of the bracket. We're going to slide the slider pin into the boot here. Bring that all the way down. Now we can take our inner pad, slide it into the bracket. Now you can fold this right up and over. Grab your other slider pin. Slide that in. Now we're going to put our flex hose onto our caliper. Now we're just going to keep twisting the caliper until the flex hose bottoms out. Okay, so I've got that bottomed out. Let's go ahead and slide this on here. Now we'll grab our 2 mounting bolts. We'll put those in. It's a good idea to use a little bit of red thread locker. It's going to be easiest if you just put it on your socket. We'll start both of these in, snug them up, and then we'll torque them to 80 foot-pounds. Now we're going to snug up the slider. Torque that to 32 foot-pounds. Now let's make sure we snug up our flex hose. So now if you happen to notice when you try to tighten up your flex hose that it just keeps wanting to twist and it's starting to look like a knot, the next thing that I would do is just come right up here. I'm going to loosen up this line a tiny bit, and then I'm going to remove this clip right there so I can slide this. Then once we turn this, we'll be spinning the whole entire flex hose, and then once it's completely done, we can put in the clip. Now we're just going to wiggle this so it's free. Remove these. Now we can tighten up our flex hose. Okay, so it's bottomed out. Just going to give it a teeny bit more. We want to make sure that we don't have a leak. Now let's put our clip back in here. Tighten up your line. Check your flex hose. Make sure you don't have any funny kinks or bends. This looks great. Let's remove our boot and open up our bleeder screw. With that open, we're just going to wait until we have a steady trickle of fluid coming out. Okay, now that we have a steady trickle, let's go ahead and close this off and we'll get ready for our manual brake bleed. The next thing you want to do is check your brake fluid right at your master cylinder. If you can't see through the side, go ahead and open it up. Looking inside, make sure it's nice and full. If it's low, you want to add to it and make sure you use .3 brake fluid. To bleed the brakes, it's going to be easiest with two people. You want somebody inside the Jeep, and of course you need somebody out here to be able to open up the bleeder screw. The person inside the Jeep is going to go ahead and pump up the brake pedal till it's firm. After that, they're going to hold it and they're going to say holding. While they're holding, I'm just going to open this up, let the fluid with air come out, and then as soon as it stops, I'll close it up and I'll tell them to pump again. Typically, you're going to want to pump it 3 to 5 times each time. Let's go ahead and pump. As you can see with that one, we got a lot of air, so let's go ahead and do it again. Okay, so as you can see on that last one, we had no air coming out of it. If you wanted to, you can continue bleeding this a couple more times just to ensure that there is no air. But for me, I feel confident that we should be good to go. Let's continue. Now let's clean down the area and put on our boot. Now let's get our wheel back up on here. We'll start all of our lug nuts, bottom them out, get the wheel back on the ground, and then we'll torque them to 100 foot-pounds. Torqued. Okay friends, now you just want to get back under the hood, double check your brake fluid. If it's low, add a little bit of .3 brake fluid, and then take it for a road test.